Okay, man. We got a question for you today. What do the Los Angeles Lakers look like when LeBron James comes back to this team? Does LeBron James help this team, or does he slow down this team? Is LeBron James going to be willing to take that third seat that I said he should take when he does come back? Is he going to allow Austin Reaves to continue to do what he's doing and also understand that this is Luka's team now? Are you okay with that? Will you have this slight pettiness? Will you step into that role and keep being the leader and the greatest player that you are, but also not step on the toes of others? Will you continue to let guys like Jake LaRavia sprout and keep figuring out who he is and, man, look like the guy that is doing great things for this team? Again, will LeBron James come back to this Laker team and add to them or subtract from what they're doing? When he comes back, how many games can he play and stay healthy? When does he come back? Right? There's so many questions that's going on when it comes to this Lakers team. You know, some good and some bad, right? Because this Lakers team has been, to me, pretty impressive to not have all their pieces, to be dealing with the ups and downs of injuries and all of the things. They look damn good. And I can't wait to answer some of these questions, man, and really tap into them and just get my insight and hopefully hear from you guys as well. Welcome to another episode of Skybox Conversations, man, the Hoop Pod, where we talk about all things hoops, especially when it comes to NBA and my favorite college team, the Arkansas Razorbacks, and, of course, the Los Angeles Lakers. And actually, this also is the first night of college basketball, so I'll definitely be tuning in to watch my Hogs play Southern tonight. So got a lot to be excited about. I'm going to do a couple cool segments with y'all where I'm going to talk about the games that are going on tonight, give my picks, what I think the game of the night is going to be, and also give you the list of the games that I'm going to be giving majority of my attention to on the NBA level. So let's hop right into it, man, because like I said, my Lakers are starting out this year 5-2 without LeBron. They're talking about he's expected to miss maybe 1 or 2 more weeks. And overall, man, I think this offense has looked pretty damn good. Again, regardless of injuries, regardless of the things that we've been dealing with, you got Austin Reaves and Luka combining for well over 70 points a game, 17 assists. You got Jake LaRavia over the last 3 games, averaging 21 and 7 rebounds, 3 steals, and shooting over 80% from the field. Obviously, I don't think that's gonna, sustain at that level per se, but he's been so damn good it's getting to the point where motherfuckers are asking, who the fuck is this? And you got Anthony Edwards saying, I don't even know. Right? But if you don't know who that man is, Jake LaRavia, you will soon, because I think he is making a name for himself as one of the perennial wing guys in his league, man. And I think he's going to be around for a while. He's huge. He can shoot the ball. He can make big shots. And I think I am officially joining that bandwagon of saying that Jake LaRavia is better than Dorian Finney-Smith when it comes to what he brings to this team. Now, that may be premature, but as of right now, I do feel that way wholeheartedly. Marcus Smart has been so good for this team. He's injected so much toughness and grit and just that dog that I feel like this team was missing. Jumping on the floor for loose balls, communicating, taking on the best assignment when he is in the game, making some shots, being a leader, man. Just being a leader and playing at a high level, and kind of being that calm in the storm for us coming off that bench. And do whatever was asked of him. Just being a real Swiss Army knife and being valuable. And probably my favorite role player on this team, like I said before. DeAndre Ayton, I think he's been doing really well, holding his own. I've talked about that. I talked about how Jackson Hayes has been serviceable. He even hit a 3 last night when they were playing against who did they beat last night? When they played against Miami Heat last night, he hit a 3. He started out the game really strong and stepped in for Ayton. And so when you see all of these things, right, Gabe Vincent was doing really well before he went down with his twisted ankle. You still haven't seen Maxi Kleber. You still have you getting ready to call Thiero back up from the G League, and we're getting ready to hopefully see him maybe by this weekend. So when you have all of that going on in the back of your mind, the real question becomes, what does this team look like when LeBron comes back? Because we're looking damn good without him. So what do we look like when he comes back? Does he change the tempo of the game? Does he start to step on toes? Does he start to hunt for his shots, therefore taking the ball out of other people's hands? He's going to slash people minutes. Whose minutes is he going to take away? Right? Because I would hate for Laravia's minutes to decline by too much when he's been so great. Rui has been pretty steady as well and really carried us a couple of games. So forgot about him, right? So when you think about that, not only what did the lineup look like, did we go back to our original lineup when it's Luka, Austin, LeBron, Rui, and DeAndre Ayton, right? I see there's a world where you can even argue that Jake LaRavia could start over Rui in that lineup, right? So what does the team look like? I think off the top of my head, what I really believe is that LeBron is going to slow us down um, in some aspects, but that sometimes that'll be good because he can help control the tempo of the game, right? Because when you talk about some of the things and where we are when it comes to some of the major statistics in the NBA right now, the Lakers are second in field goal percentage at 52%. We're averaging 119.3 points per game, which is a top 11 in the league. Assists per game, 27 assists per game, which is a top 15, number 14. And then we got rebounds per game. We're in the bottom half at 25th almost and 24th in the league, right, out of 30 teams. So when you talk about the areas in which I think he can help us with, I definitely think he can help with the rebounding aspect. I definitely think he can, help with the scoring, obviously, and the facilitating and the controlling of the game. But also, can he hold his own on defense continuously? Can he continue to be that voice that he's always been and killing with his rotations and all of those things? So I'm not finna ever sit here and disrespect LeBron James as the best player in this game and think he's going to come back and just make us terrible. But also, can he – hopefully he's been looking over there, which I know he is because he's a brilliant basketball player, and watching the game and saying, these are the things I'm going to do to not take away from, but also make sure that I'm adding value. Because that's LeBron James, and I think anywhere he goes, he'll add value. I just hope that while he does add that value, it doesn't step on the other toes of other people that have been contributing greatly to this team. And if anything, just shows how much deeper we have gotten once he comes back. And that it doesn't take too long to come back to where it takes forever to get them integrated and get them going and get them on the same page, right? Perfect world, you love by Christmas time, New Year's, right? We clicking, right? Definitely by All-Star break, we high rolling and starting to go into rare form into our full potential, right? That would be perfect, right? Perfect world. But we'll see. But when you talk about does he make this team better or worse, or how do we look when he comes back? I don't think he's going to make us worse, but I do think there's a world where he could impact others in a not-so-great way from taking their minutes, taking their shots, taking their opportunities. But if he does embrace that third role, then maybe not, right? But then I guess the question really becomes, will LeBron accept that third option willingly? I don't know LeBron, obviously, right? But there has to be a world where LeBron would accept that role and be happy with that, because in his mind, he has to be thinking, listen, man, I'm 40 years old, right? I want to win, but I don't want to have to do it all on the back of my shoulders, which is why I felt like in so many times in the past, he tried to give the team to AD, right? He tried to give AD the keys to the kingdom, but there were just so many games with AD where it was just like, you fading away on us, bro, right? Or you wouldn't step up, or you wouldn't take the shots, or we would, you would be so lackadaisical out there, and we look up, we down 15-20, now LeBron has to say, give me that motherfucker, let me try to, right, at 40 years old. And I don't think that's going to happen nearly as much with Luka and AR, right, to the point where I think he'll be so happy with that, he's willing to take that third row option. And instead of, looking at it as a negative thing, he'll embrace it and still at times give us first option, second option type of vibes to close out games, or maybe when Luka or Austin may have to miss a game, or whatever the case may be, he can still be LeBron James. That's the beautiful thing about it. Now, I kind of brings you into that next question. Is this officially Luka and AR's team? I think so. I think the best thing for this team, if it hasn't already happened, is for for LeBron to make it known, to embrace it, and to stand on it, that it's their team and he is following their league, but he's still going to give his expertise. That would be the best thing for this team. And best thing for this team. And by saying that, it yields another question. Is this officially AR and Luka? Are AR and Luka officially one of the best backcourts in the league, and are they one of the best NBA duos in the NBA this year? I would have to say so. Averaging over 70 points a game. What else is there to talk about? Luka averaging 40, Austin averaging 30, which is no slight. That's not no thing you just can gloss over from a guy that was averaging 20 just a year ago to now averaging 30 right now. Now again, it's only 5, 6, what's that, 6, 7 games into the season, but you're averaging 30 right now. That's special. And you're averaging almost 10 assists. That's special. So I don't think you can talk about duos and not have Austin and Luka at the top of that. And then you still got LeBron James, the greatest player ever, as a third option. And LeBron can only has to play 28 to 30 minutes because you got LaRavia showing great promise. Right? You got Vando that's going to come in with some defense. You got Marcus Smart that's going to come in with the energy and the defense and the shooting. A well-rested LeBron, when it comes around to May and June, is a great thing for this team. LeBron just has to accept that role, and I think he will. I really do think he will take it and, embrace it. Now, at the same time, you have to answer this question too. Is LeBron holding back what this team could be? Meaning that if you were able to get LeBron's contract off the books, what could you bring in exchange for that? So let's look at LeBron's contract real quick. Real fast. All right, I'm not going to get into the numbers and all of that shit. Right, so right now he's on a 2-year, $104 million contract with a player option this year, right? This after this season. We know that, right? So he's playing currently he's set to earn $52.6 million, okay? What could you bring in if LeBron wasn't on this team? Could you bring in some elite guys? They can be an elite wing defender. They can be a great two-way player, right? I heard even earlier watching Club 520 with Jeff Teague and them. He gave a great scenario where is there a world where you turn LeBron James into a guy like Jaden McDaniels? You put a guy like Jaden McDaniels next to a guy like Luka and Austin. Damn. With DeAndre Ayton back there, one of the best defenders in the league, I see the vision for something like that. But you're not able to go make a move like that right now because you're paying a guy like LeBron James so much money. Right, rightfully so. We're not arguing the money. But just also saying that he is in the way right now from them being able to go younger or to do some other things. But if he comes in and does what he's supposed to do, you can justify that. But again, the only way it starts to become a problem and be magnified is if he comes in, it makes them start to go backwards. That's when you really say he's in the way. But when you talk about the overall team, I think he is holding the team back because Lakers is limiting the moves in which the Lakers can make. And in a world where you kind of imagining that he might not be there next year, whether that's because of retirement or going to another team, you have to consider that Pelinka is thinking about what moves could I go make? Could I go get another guy, another superstar to put into with these guys? I could go ahead and pay Austin. I could go ahead and bring in some really high caliber glue guys and roll guys. Like, think about how New York went and got OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. If we can bring in our own versions of that. You go get us a Herb Jones, right? You go get us a Trey Murphy. You go get us a what's another one of them random teams that got a bunch of good role players on it? All right, I even like Michael Porter Jr. for the shooting, right? Like, but you can't make those type of plays right now because you're paying LeBron. So I think LeBron isn't in the way because of his talent. I think LeBron is in the way because of his contract, and he is limiting the type of plays in which that team can make. And I think I really do trust in a Luka-led Laker team because he's showing even right now with even us having a complete team that we really fucking good with just him and AR. Really fucking good. You put some competent pieces around him that we really fucking good. But then it becomes a question of what everybody wants to ask. If LeBron left, where would he go? We know he's been linked to Dallas in the past. We know he's been linked to Golden State in the past. We know he's been linked to, I even heard rumblings of like a Houston or something like that, right? So, or even going back to Cleveland, maybe playing with Donovan Mitchell and those guys. I think going back to Cleveland for a third time would be dope, personally, right? Playing with Steph would be dope. But we know wherever he goes, it's got to make sense. It got to make money. And it has to put him in the best position to win. I really do like him going to play with a Donovan Mitchell type of guy. Because what did I say about Donovan Mitchell? He needs to be with another superstar. He needs to be with another guy that sometimes Donovan Mitchell can go be the 1B. And LeBron is still capable of being a high-level guy in this league. We don't doubt that. But I think he's just getting in the way of what the Lakers are building in particular. So I would love to see him on any one of those teams, whether that's like but my main two being Golden State or Cleveland. Really dope. Would love this. It just feel like a video game, seeing him play with Steph. But it would really be dope to see him go back home and close it out with Cleveland. And I wouldn't mind seeing him with a Darius Garland, a Donovan Mitchell, a Evan Mobley. Right? Does it make sense financially? I don't know, but it would be dope to see. It would be dope to see. So that's where I'm thinking. What would you think that he would end up going? I would love to hear from y'all. What does LeBron's role need to be when he comes back? Obviously, like I said, be a third option. But listen, LeBron, this is what we need. We need you to average 20 points, 18 to 20 points, 7 to 9, or 7, 8, 9, or 10 rebounds, right? 5 to 7 assists. Be a coach on the floor. Be a coach on the bench. Be a positive guy. Play 50 games. Be ready when it's time for the playoffs. And be a closer when we need you to be a closer. Be a facilitator at all times. Make DeAndre Ayton look good. Make things easier for the guys around you like you've always done. And rest. That's his role. Be a third option. Be a closer when we need you to be a closer. Be a coach. On and off the court. And be fully healthy for playoff time. Can't ask for too much more. If Bron is able to do that and step into that and put his pride aside, his ego aside, and step into that role, which he's never had to do, we're a different team. We're a different team. If LeBron buys into being the third option, could this be his best team version ever? If he buys into being the third option, could this be one of the best teams that LeBron has ever been on? No, I don't think any team is going to outdo that Miami Heat team or him and Kyrie. I don't know. But I do think this puts him in the best position where this is going to be the best team he's had, where there's no pressure on him, where you don't have to expect too much from him. I think this does give him the best in that regard. I really do. But best team, I don't know. That's a stretch because he's been on some great fucking team. And I think we get into the last of these questions. What's the ceiling for this team with LeBron, and what's the ceiling with this team without LeBron? I think with LeBron, if he comes and does what we're asking, be the third option, do the things I just mentioned to him doing, I honestly think this team can be I wouldn't be surprised if they were a 3 or 4 seed in the West, based on how things are looking now. Jake LaRavia continues on that projection. Marcus Smart stays healthy and does what he's doing. DeAndre Ayton stays doing what he's doing. Right? Austin Reaves doesn't change. Luka stays healthy and continues to do what he's doing. And you get back Gabe Vincent. Vando continues to be a defensive demon. Bron comes back and do it again. What we just said. 3 or 4 seed in the West. Without LeBron, I think you still can be a top 6, but you're teetering more towards the 5 or the 6. I wouldn't be surprised. So not play in regardless, but just 3 or 4 seed versus a 5 or a 6 seed, which we know makes a big difference in this league, especially in the West. But that's what I think their ceiling is with them, and what I think their ceiling is without him. And then last but not least, another great question. What did that Lakers actually traded LeBron in this final year? In this final year of his contract, what would the return even look like? See, for me, when you hear the name LeBron James, you automatically want to say they're gonna give him everything. They're gonna get him a haul back. He's gonna get a lot, right? Because it's LeBron. But in reality, GMs now are so smart, and you're dealing with the cap space, and you're dealing with the second apron, you're dealing with all these things. I think most teams wouldn't give you more. I don't think anybody would even. I think most people would even be hesitant to give you a first-round pick, even one, for LeBron James at this age. I would be surprised if they were willing to even give you one first-round pick for him. I think maybe a second-round pick, not even many of those, a couple, role guys, that aren't just life or death for your team, or something like that, because you already got to take on his contract, right? Or you got to figure out what you're gonna do with him and sign him to a 1 year deal or whatever the case may be. After this second year right here, like, so you got decisions to make. But I don't see a GM in this world unless they just for real and win now mode and just feel really good about him coming. I don't see anybody going more than giving you a couple second round picks, if more than two, a couple role players that aren't just going to give you life or death and something like that. So for instance, if he was to go to Cleveland, back home, you know, I think there's a world where you can say, hey, you can have a dude like Max Strus. Uh, I don't even know if they'll give up DeAndre Hunter. I wouldn't. I would find a world where you couldn't. You can have somebody like Alonzo, maybe. Let me see who else on that team. Sam Merrill, right? Like them type of guys, like dudes that are really good for your team and help your team, but not make or break, because LeBron can do a lot of those things. So that's what I think, that would look like. I don't think you're going to get a crazy haul for him, which I think the Lakers also realize that. It's like you ain't going to get no crazy haul for him, but, you might get something that can help you out. So, yeah, man, that's what I really think when it comes to LeBron, and it's just wondering, like, damn, what does this team look like when LeBron comes back? I think that on the high end, we can be a 3 or a 4 seed, and on the low end, we can be a 5 or a 6 seed. And I would love to hear from y'all what y'all think about that, man. So be sure to like and comment and subscribe to this video and give me y'all feedback. Now, before we get out of here, I want to do something that I'm just bringing on, man, where I'm going to predict who I think is going to win the games into NBA tonight, who I think my game of the night is going to be, and also give you a detailed list of who the games I am in particular going to make sure is on my screens tonight on my NBA League Pass, right? Like, these are the games I'm for sure going to be watching closely and paying close attention to, outside of obviously watching my Hogs play tonight, playing Southern. Oh yeah, and I can't forget about this. This is the upcoming stretch for the Lakers. These are the next 11 games for the Lakers, and I want to kind of give you a prediction of what I think their record is going to be. So you got the Blazers, the Spurs, the Hawks, the Hornets, the Thunder, the Pelicans, the Bucks, the Jazz twice, the Mavs, and the Pelicans again. So I think, and this is all based on the majority of the dudes we have healthy playing, right? And hopefully, at least by this Bucks Jazz range, LeBron is back, right? But just going based off of that, right? Let's just say if he's not there, right? And we just got the team we got now. I think you can beat the Blazers with Luka back. We lost to them without Luka. The Spurs, that might be a tough one. Hawks, so we can go 2-1. Hornets, 3-1. Thunder, 3-2. Pelicans, 4-2. Bucks, 5-2. Jazz, we fuck around, lose one of them hoes. 6-3. Mavs, 7-3. Pelicans, 8-3. I think we can go 8-3 over our next 11 games, with or without LeBron, right? Which speaks to how good this team is. But then also, I think a lot of these games are games we should win. I think the Spurs and the Thunder are going to give us trouble. And like I said, we bound to lose one of these goofy ass games, like to the Jazz or the Pelicans or some shit. But it fuck around be the Bucks, because they do pretty good without Giannis. But I don't think that's sustainable. So yeah, man, that is my prediction over the next 11 games. So real quick, let's do a slate over what the games are tonight. And I want to give my predictions on who I think is going to win, and then give you my games of the night, and also the games I'm going to be paying close attention to. So, folks, first we got the Bucks and the Pacers. The Pacers really struggling, dealing with a lot of injuries. I'm looking at it now to see who's on that injury report. You still got Kevin Porter Jr. out. Giannis is a game time decision today. You have no Obi Toppin, no Benedict Mathurin, no Andrew Nembhard. Johnny Furphy and Ray J. Dennis are both game time decisions. I am going to go with the Bucks for that first game. Next, we got the Jazz and the Celtics. I'm going to go with the Celtics. Yeah, definitely the Celtics. No Walker Kessler. It's over with. I'm going with the Celtics. And then I got the Mavs and the Rockets. I'm going with the Rockets. Then you got the Kings and the Nuggets. I'm going with the Nuggets. Lakers and the Trailblazers. I think my Lakers are able to get the Trailblazers tonight. Heat and the Clippers. We got to also see if Norman Powell is playing, because he didn't play last night either. Norman Powell's a game time decision. Yakachunas is going to be out tonight. Obviously, no Terry Rozier and no Tyler Hero. I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I'm gonna go with the Clippers on that one. Timberwolves and the Nets. I'm definitely going with Timberwolves. The Nets. The Nets is poo ass cheese. Wizards and the Knicks. I'm going with the Knicks. Pistons and the Grizzlies. I'm going with the Pistons because the Grizzlies got that drama going on with John Morant. And so I think my game of the night, meaning the best game that's going to be on tonight, is going to end up being. That's tough. Shit, it might be my Lakers and the Trailblazers. Just because the Trailblazers are really fucking good. Under Tiago Splitter, they've been really good. Um, yeah, they've been really fucking good. Like 4-1 or something like that under Tiago Splitter. So I'm thinking it's going to be the Lakers and the Trailblazers. And the games I'm going to be having on my screen tonight, if I had to pick four, I'm going to probably go Mavs and the Rockets, Lakers and the Trailblazers, Heat and the Clippers, and I'm probably going to watch Pistons and the Grizzlies. Those are the four games I'm going to be tapped into the most tonight. Obviously, my Arkansas Hogs and then again Southern. So, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode, man, of the Skybox Conversations, man. The Hoop Pod. We talk all things hoops. I am your host, Will Z. Tidwell, man, and I can't wait to see y'all in the next episode. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.